Okay guys, welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to be taking a look at something a little bit different. Still action figure related, but as you can see we are looking at the Marvel Legends Daredevil Born Again Punisher. Now, a little backstory with me and Marvel Legends. I have a very love-hate relationship with it. And that's purely because I used to collect a lot of MCU Marvel Legends figures and the occasional X-Men from the comics. And though some of the figures were really good, throughout the tail end of last year when I was still buying Marvel Legends figures, consistently every single one that I got right out of the packaging broke. Whether it be the arm falling off, the leg snapping, missing accessories, it was consistent for me. I'm not saying that to say that it's like that with all retailers and Hasbro Pulse specifically, which is where I was getting them, and a couple from other retailers, and thankfully they did reimburse me on some of them. Some of them they just said you can send back and we'll replace it, but in the end I just decided this is becoming way too common of an issue for me. So I got rid of all my Marvel Legends and I have not collected it since. But I still tune into the fan streams every now and then just to see if there might be the occasional figure that I think, oh, I can blend that in with my G.I. Joe Classifieds, for instance, and this is such as one of them. And the Punisher for me is a character that is probably, if not my favourite character in all of Marvel. I remember first seeing the Punisher in Spider-Man the Animated Series, and I just love that character. Just something about a badass gun-wielding guy wearing a skull on his chest and things like that. And then I remember the John Travolta, I think it was 2005, maybe give or take a year or two, that movie, when that Punisher movie came out. And then I believe there was a secondary movie, I think it was called Punisher Warzone. I vaguely remember watching that, but I'm not going to say for certain. And then when John Bernthal was announced to be the Punisher, I thought, now this is interesting, because I quite like John Bernthal as an actor. I remember first seeing him in The Walking Dead as Shane, and I quite liked his character. I thought he was really cool. I've seen him in a bunch of other things ever since then, but when I watched him in the series as the Punisher, I thought he was really good. I think he's a solid Punisher, but I will admit at times the writing for John's version of the Punisher didn't land for me. I thought that's not very Punisher-y. It's not very, I don't know, it just seemed to be hit and miss. But I wanted to grab this figure because I think it looked good on the renders, and I think it does look good, but I do have one nitpick that I can see already. And we'll get into that when I crack this guy open. But first, let's take a look at the packaging. Again, these videos going forward, I'm going to do the packaging shots. But let me know if you guys just want me to veto that idea and just get straight into the figure itself. But as you can see, it's in the Daredevil Born Again series. Marvel Legends, you get a nice artwork of Frank. Really nice illustration there on the side for the artwork. On the back, it's the same artwork, and then we get a little bit of a bio. It says, after his family was murdered in a criminal government conspiracy, US Marine veteran Frank Castle turns vengeful vigilante and an ally to Daredevil. That is when their interests align. I'd say that's an apt sort of bio and description for the series. Punisher was first introduced in the Daredevil series, I believe, and then he got his own spin-off, which had two fairly decent seasons. Season 1 was really good. Season 2, I think the beginning of that season was really good, but towards the end it kind of just fizzled out. I reckon they could have cut like 2 or 3 episodes out of that, and it should have been a shorter series in my opinion, but hey ho. And then again on the side, so let's crack this guy open and take a look at the actual figure. Okay, and we now have the figure out of his packaging prison, and right away, solid figure. I will give props to where it's due. No loose joints anywhere. He is going to be a bit still fairly rigid due to the climate in my area. We're thoroughly into winter now for the UK, so he's going to be quite cold. So he'll need a nice warm bath just to loosen him up a little bit. But first, we'll dive into his accessories, and then we shall take a look at the actual figure and all his other stuff. So right away, you get 2 extra hands. You get a right hand trigger finger and a left hand fist. Actually, no, sorry, that's the other way around. It's a left hand trigger finger and then a right hand fist. Because I've got the figure facing me, I'm thinking right and left, so I do apologise. Then he gets a combat knife, which is quite flexible, which is a bit annoying if you ask me, but I understand why they do things like that. They have to adhere to a certain child safety code maybe, but given that we have Valaverse knives like this, and they are a lot more solid than this, I'm probably going to swap this one out for a Valaverse one, as well as upgrading with some other Valaverse weapons. He then comes with a hatchet, which I do believe you do see him use in the series. I believe he throws it into one of the SWAT officers' heads. Spoilers if you haven't seen the series, but if you have, then you know what happens with this, and then he uses it to obviously murder and maim a bunch of guys. And I think he also threatens Daredevil with it at some point, but he also comes with that. And then he comes with a standard pistol with a extended mag. Again, I don't know what type of pistol this is. I'm just going to call it a Glock because it looks like a Glock. But if it isn't, gun guys, let me know in the comment section below. But he does come with that. And for the majority of these, they do store on him. I believe the gun stores in his holster nicely there. And then he has a knife sheath on the back here. So the only weapon that does not store on him is his hatchet, which I don't think you could really make. You could probably put something behind his holster or something like that, or you could add it onto his knife sheath, but hey ho, it does not matter. So let's just move these to the side real quick and take a good look at the actual figure himself, if the camera wishes to focus. Come on, focus. It's not wanting to focus on him right now. Come on. I don't know why this guy. Let's try moving him back a little bit. There we go. It's a little better. Do apologise, guys. I am looking into getting a way better camera in the near future, but for now I'm just having to use my phone. But my only nitpick of this figure is his face sculpt. I think it's quite a common denominator. I've seen a couple of reviews about the face and the fact he doesn't look. He looks like John Berthnall. It is a striking resemblance to him. There is no question about that. But he just looks depressed. Like, when I think of Punisher, I think of angry and stoic. Not I forgot to eat today, or I was shortchanged at the grocery store. So that's my only nitpick, and I've seen some other people try and put the original Netflix Punisher head on here, and I don't think it fits unless you modify the neck. Because I believe in the series he doesn't quite have this hairstyle as well. I know he has this sort of shaggy look when you first see him, but then he does shave and cuts his hair. But I don't think it was this tufted up and this long. I think it was a little bit shorter. But I think in the next series and his upcoming part in the new Spider-Man movie, I believe he's rumoured to be in, his hair is like this and you see it in official shots. So maybe that's where they got that sort of from. But overall, I do think he is a solid figure. He's got some nice detail, like the skull, a little more faded than I'd like, but then again, the skull in the series has been sort of inconsistent anyway. He even burned it in, I believe it was in the original series at the end, and he doesn't wear it again until sort of the last bit, I believe, when he has a fight with Billy. But I would have liked this to have been a bit more of a white, just so it pops out a little bit more. But then again, I can't remember if that would have been less accurate to the series. But he also has this patch on the side. It's a little skull with 3 little stars in there. Don't know what that signifies, if that's like a reference to his military units. Because I believe in the series, there's like a bunch of cops and things like that going around with Punisher tattoos, kind of like a cult in a way. But he's nicely detailed. He's dressed all clad in black. He does have, there is a slight greyness to the knee pads, but it doesn't come across unless you are really looking at it, at least on my copy. Then across his belt he has these clips and they have like some grey detail on there. And then on this shoulder he has a blacked out American flag. I don't know if that's actually the right way around for these sort of style patches. Again, military guys, let me know in the comment section below, because normally I would have assumed that the stars that represent, I believe, the states normally are this side, but it's reversed on this. I don't know if that means he's like in mourning or if it's a reference to fallen soldiers or something like that. Again, let me know in the comment section below. But he does hold his weapons well. This hand is way too loose for this hatchet, so to me it's kind of pointless. To me this is kind of like, it just, yeah, it's useless. His other hand though, his other trigger finger hand, does hold it better. So just pop that back in. So all we gotta do really is just sort of like stretch his fingers a little bit, and it will hold the hatchet a lot better. And then the same goes for his gun and his knife. But what do you guys think of this figure? Have you picked him up? I am contemplating picking up the Daredevil to go with him. But to me, I've seen a couple of videos and reviews of that Daredevil, and the one thing that keeps putting me off is the eyes in that sculpt. They just look too bulgy, like they're popping out like a pufferfish or something like that. But I might pick him up just to see. But what do you guys think of this Punisher? Did you pick him up? Did you like him in the series? Are you looking forward to him in future movies and maybe a reboot of his series? And as always, guys, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button, the subscribe with the notification bell, so that way you can stay up to date for any future upcoming videos.